On average, our leg joints absorb around 1.5 times our body weight per step, and potentially even more with running. So inevitably, and unfortunately, we probably experience some niggles and injuries at some point whilst doing training and racing for triathlon. So that's where prehabilitation, or prehab for short, is such an important tool for injury prevention. It's basically training and conditioning our bodies better for triathlon. Before we get stuck into this video, I'm curious to hear if you've had any niggles or injuries at any point during doing your triathlon training or racing, or any at all. So please do drop those in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to help you out if we can. But for now, let's crack on with this video. So here are my top prehab exercises for triathlon. Okay, so prehab can be performed anywhere you like, really. It can be at your own home, it could be in a local park, a local space. But if you're really looking to maximize your prehab and minimize your chances of injury, then a gym is probably the perfect place. So for today's video, we're going to be using a box, a barbell, a TheraBand, and a Swissball or stability ball. Now, it might seem like a lot of kit, but all these bits of kit are going to really help when it comes to injury prevention. So let's get started with our first exercise. Right, this next exercise is focusing on the largest muscle in our bodies. It's the gluteus maximus, which is basically our behind, it's our butt. But funnily enough, it's also the one muscle that we're all so bad at activating, which is quite a shame considering how big it is and how powerful it can be. But it's also not that surprising either, because a lot of us do spend all day sat on our butts at work at a desk. And then at the snap of a finger, we expect it to activate and kick into action, and it just doesn't happen. So to help that, this exercise is called monster walks, and we're going to use a TheraBand for this. And not only does it help to activate the glutes, it can also help to improve hip stability and also help to reduce any ITB pain. So using this TheraBand, we're going to put it around our legs, and we're going to position it just above our knees and making sure that it's not over our joints. From here, drop into a semi-squat position, pushing outwards with the knees, which stretches the band and activates the glutes. Make sure to keep your back straight and a good tension in the band throughout the exercise. Take a small step sideways with one leg, increasing the stretch on the band, and then step the same distance with the other leg. Repeat this sideways walk over 5 to 10 meters, and then step back the opposite way using the other leg as the lead leg. Then, remaining in the semi-squat position, now we're going to do a similar motion forwards and backwards. Simply take a small step forwards with the right leg, followed by a small step forwards with the left leg. And do this again, 5 to 10 meters forwards, and then the same motion backwards. Right, well now we've got our glutes all activated and working well, we're now going to move on to the single leg squat exercise, which is great for also recruiting those muscles, but also for developing them to help prevent any hip and knee injuries. So for this exercise, we're going to use a bench or a box like I'm using here, and we're aiming for our knees to be at around 90 degrees when we're sat on it. Okay, now stand up with your feet 6 to 12 inches in front of the box in a hip width stance with your knees slightly bent. Standing on one leg, squeeze and engage the glute muscles of that supporting leg. Push your body weight backwards, and at the same time, bend the knee of that supporting leg into a semi-squat position. As you descend, have your arms out in front of you for added stability, all whilst extending your opposite leg out in front of you. When your bum touches the box, immediately push through your heel and return to that starting position. Concentrate on keeping your knee and hip aligned over your supporting foot, and that your knee doesn't extend beyond the front of your foot. This movement focuses on stability and strength in that targeted leg and core area. Aim for 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps and switch legs between. Okay, this next exercise is bringing it all together and working on the strength and the movement required for running. It's a step up with a knee drive. And for this one, I'm going to use a box again, but you can go slightly lower with that box. You can, of course, use a bench, you can use a chair, but just make sure that it's stable and it's not too high. So start by standing in front of the box, then place one foot up onto the box. Step upwards vertically whilst using your opposite arm to help drive your leg up. Once you've stepped up, continue to drive your other knee into a high knee running posture and hold and balance before stepping down. Basically, the reverse of the previous movement and making sure it's smooth and controlled. Stepping right off the box and then starting again. It's important you keep a good posture throughout the exercise and you hold and stabilize at the top before coming back down. Build up to 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps and then progress. Well, now let's step away from the legs and move on to our upper body with the bent over barbell row. Now this typically focuses on building and strengthening the muscles in our upper body, but it does also require the assistance from our lower back, our core, and our arms. So this is going to help with a number of aspects for triathlon, but particularly the swimming. So if we can help to engage and hold the muscles better through our back, and particularly our upper back, it will actually help to not only improve our performance while swimming, it also help to reduce the risk of overuse injuries through our shoulders. So for this exercise, we're going to need a barbell. And with that, we're going to then assume a standing position with feet shoulder width apart whilst holding the bar using a double overhand grip. Hinge forward until your torso is roughly parallel with the floor or slightly above that, and then begin by setting your shoulders back so it's all engaged. And then begin the movement by driving your elbows behind your body, pulling the bar towards your hips until it touches your body, and then slowly lower the bar back down to the starting position, but under control. To really work the scapular control, I suggest letting the shoulders relax between each rep and then essentially disengage before then re-engaging them and repeating the exercise. Aim for 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Okay then, back to the legs now, and now we're going to be focusing on the lower legs, the calves. Now they're not the biggest muscles on our body, but given how much contact our feet make with the ground during a triathlon, I'd say they're pretty important. So this exercise is called the eccentric calf lower, and this is a really good exercise for those people that maybe struggle with Achilles issues. Start on a step or a box with your heels hanging over the edge. Push up with both of your feet using a wall or something to lightly stabilize yourself if you need to. Then lift one foot off the ground at the top and then begin to slowly lower on the other leg. Allow your heel to drop below the edge of the step, providing it doesn't cause pain. Then place the other leg back down to push back up to the top of the movement, and then repeat this roughly for 15 reps on each leg, aiming for 3 times through in total. Right, now we're going to use our Swissball or stability ball for the hip bridge leg curl exercise. So again, this is going to make work of our glutes, but it's also going to start working our hamstrings. So start with your legs up and heels on the stability ball, and your hips raised several inches off the floor so they're in line with your knees. Curl the stability ball in towards your butt and then drive your hips up towards the ceiling. Fully contract your glutes to the top of the motion and try to maintain this straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Then slowly lower your hips down towards the mat as you release the ball back to the starting position using your hamstrings and glutes. Make sure to keep the control throughout this entire exercise, and with it being a relatively hard exercise, aim for 8 to 10 reps and 2 to 3 times through in total. Okay, this next one is using the TheraBand, and we've actually got 2 exercises within one. We've got the internal and external shoulder rotation. Now, if you are someone that's maybe increasing your swimming volume or the intensity of your swimming, then you're going to be wanting to reduce or avoid the risk of getting something called swimmer's shoulder, where essentially the muscles and your joint is getting overused. And to do that, we want to strengthen the muscles in what's called our rotator cuff within our shoulder. And that is where these exercises come in. For this one, just simply attach a TheraBand to something solid and hold on to the other end. Whilst keeping your elbow at your side at 90 degrees, simply externally rotate your arm. This then works deep into those external rotation muscles of the shoulder, which will help to improve the functioning and the strength of the shoulder joint. Do it in a controlled manner, complete around 15 repetitions. doing it around 2 to 3 times on each arm. Okay, and then for the internal shoulder rotation, simply turn yourself around, hold on to the band and keep your elbow by your side with your hand pointing straight out in front of you. And then simply rotate your hand inwards and internally across your body, keeping it nice and controlled on the way in and also on the way back out. And again, repeat this for around 15 repetitions and 2 to 3 times on each arm. While triathlon can be a very repetitive sport requiring the same movements over and over again and in a relatively linear motion, so Prehab is all about preventing those injuries before they even manifest themselves. Now, if you do have any questions from this video, please do drop them in the comments section below and I'll try and get back to them for you. If you did like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more videos from GTN, just click on the globe and subscribe. If you'd like to see my 4 exercises to improve your power on the bike video, just click down here. And if you'd like to see Heather's strength and conditioning for beginners video, just click down here.